On my adventure to cover almost all of the Mattel Thomas Friends content exclusive on YouTube, I've covered the Thomas Friends Great Racing and Far and Thomas's Aussie Adventure. But a series I've somewhat wanted and didn't want to cover is Learning with Thomas. Now, Learning with Thomas is the only CGI Thomas show that is still going, so yeah, the series is probably going to be one of the last CGI Thomas shows, sadly. Now, the show itself has terrible visuals. The engine models are just ripped straight from Big World Big Adventures, but the backgrounds, the backgrounds are just awful. They probably just took like 5 minutes with these backgrounds. They didn't even bother to make new models for stations or any real background element besides trees, and they're all just ripped from Wubba. Now, some longtime viewers might be saying, Ganon, you hypocrite, you used white backgrounds. How can you accuse these people of being lazy when you literally just used white? And all I can say to that is, at least mine were visually appealing. Okay, so, backgrounds aren't everything. So, how was the animation? The animation isn't even any better. The humans move like they're robots, and they're also really stiff, and the engines are just bouncing all the time. Not like I had any high expectations for anything CGI Thomas this year, but it was disappointing to see. That's all I'm going to say for the animation, so let's cover the voices. There are some new voices for some characters too. We have John Hassel as Thomas, Rob Rackstraw as Percy. He does really good with Percy's voice. I like this new voice for Percy more than I did for his previous voice. He also does Gordon, James, Diesel, Cranky, a painter, and Sir Tom Hat. His Sir Tom Hat voice is really strange in my opinion. It sounds really fake for some reason. And I don't know if I can get over that. It's just so weird sounding. And we also have Rachel Louise Miller as Emily, Rosie, and Rebecca. Actors do the voices really well, even if I don't like Sir Tom Hat's voice too much. Well, now since I've covered the visuals and voice acting, let's go into the most important part, the plot. Because sometimes you don't need good visuals, but just good voice acting and good writing to have a show. So, do they have good writing? Let's find. It's bad. Let's see. Every episode starts out kind of the same. Thomas and Percy go on a straight track and talk about whatever on their minds. And then after they talk about it, that thing just shows up. Like in the first episode, Thomas and Percy talk about colors, and then, oh, look what showed up, a painter and some paint that they have to take. Or in one episode, they talk about vehicles. And, oh, look, the clouds are just vehicles all of a sudden. So now they go over vehicles. There are only a couple episodes that break this formula, and they are the ones that start off the docks or Napster stations, or just have Diesel in them, which his character is even worse than it was before. I don't understand how Diesel just got worse. I wouldn't get too much into it because I want to save that idea for a future video, but just take CGI Diesel and make him 5 times more stupid. The episodes that start off at different locations aren't that interesting either. They just have them educate children about really dumb basic stuff like sleeping. And it's honestly the stuff they teach you is really disappointing for a train show. The best episode of the series is Thomas and Percy learn about weather. This episode is by far the best one in the series, and that's just because everything works. The writing isn't super boring, the visuals are actually good, there isn't too much bouncing, and everybody acts in character and not like they're just dumb. This is by far the best episode in the series, and this is in the second season, so they're kind of improving? I don't really know. Will there be a third season of this? I sure hope not. If you're wondering how the music is, it's pretty decent. Pretty much every single Thomas and Friends thing has always had pretty good music. Except for the songs with words, those ones aren't bad, but just kinda lame and generic. But that's all I really have to say about the music, and kind of the show. But let's get into a missed opportunity I feel like would have been really cool if they did. So what they could have done with Learning with Thomas is that they could have just taken the show and teach you about actual steam locomotives or diesel locomotives. It would have been a nice turn of events than what we got here. Teaching kids actually what steam engines and locomotives are just about in general would have been really cool. But sadly, they decided to do the generic preschool children's teaching hour thing, which makes me really disappointed because he could have taught so many kids about steam locomotives, and even adults maybe if you did it right. Sadly, we just did not get that. Now, should you go watch this show? Even if you are a diehard Thomas Friends fan, I recommend that you don't. It's extremely boring and has some forced cameo appearances of characters that they try to get you to watch the show, but they don't do anything, so it's really not even worth it for those cameos. But if you're a parent and you want to let your kid watch this, I would just recommend not letting them watch this. Let them watch something else. That'll be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing. It would really help the channel. And please turn on notifications so you don't miss a video. See you next time. Goodbye.